at Johnny Sanchez, and I'm very excited to be here because this is a new spot in New Orleans, but it's New Orleans food, it's Mexican food. Explain what this concept is to me, and we're missing one key man here. So tell me a little bit about what's going on here.
Well, initially it was John E. Sanchez. So you got myself, Aarón Sanchez. For years we've been cooking together. For years we've been great friends. We started using the idea of the taco party to raise money for our foundation.
Yeah.
And that's where we wrote Miles into this.
Poor Miles.
Miles was the sous chef over at August for years and is applying Aarón's mother and grandmother's sensibilities to those ingredients.
Yeah.
And with a little bit of finesse of Miles's experience and where I come from, applied to Aarón's heritage, we really came out with something that's quite unique, and in essence it really kind of feels like a Mexico City restaurant transplanted into New Orleans downtown.
Yeah, and so how do you take that New Orleans sensibility and bring the Mexican flavor in with your background and then your epic trip to Mexico, that sounds amazing?
Well, we like to use all the local ingredients, like all the plentiful seafood, and we have citrus, and we have a lot of local farms that we work with.
Are there a lot of synergies and a lot of similar ingredients?
The synergy between, I think, the culture of South Louisiana and Mexico is that it's a culture focused on hospitality, focused on family, focused on the table and how the importance of tradition. And so it's really, I was really impressed with just how easy it is to make those connections. And so we're no stranger to sofrito. We call it the Holy Trinity of Creole cooking, but we're no stranger to these flavors. But what was really fun is kind of marrying, our Louisiana French style of cooking with that of, with Mexican food. French food, everything's subtle. You're trying not to char anything. Right. And all these vegetables are black and their peppers are black, and then you puree them together and you cook them down, and not just like a clove of garlic, but 12 heads of garlic go into the sauce. And what I love is kind of applying like our sensibilities to these big, bold flavors, and the result is just incredible.
And so you're going to make a dish for us today to show off the cuisine of Johnny Sanchez and everything you've learned. So what are we making today?
I am showcasing our beautiful Louisiana shrimp and a little Mexican heritage. We take habanero, use the wood fire grill. We roast those peppers and make a little vinaigrette with them.
With the habanero love, right?
Habanero love. We marinate the shrimp. Lots of lime juice, the habanero, a little bit of coconut milk to cut that heat from the habanero.
So, well, will you show us the steps? Take us back to the kitchen?
Absolutely.
All right.
All right, so here we are. We're back in the kitchen. We're going to make our shrimp ceviche with a little habanero coconut vinaigrette. Here we have our U10 Louisiana shrimp. These are white shrimp. I call them U10 because they weigh about 10 to the pound. I've already peeled and deveined some here. I'm going to put these into this boiling water just to give us a little head start on the pickling process. Just a little bit of salt. A bit of citrus. I like to do a little lime, a couple limes, maybe some orange. But we have these little satsumas which grow down here in South Louisiana, so we're going to use some of these. The salt ratio does not matter. We just put that in there for a little extra seasoning before we season it with the vinaigrette. So I'm going to drop these right in, just for about 3 minutes, just to put a light little poach on those. So ceviche is traditionally just seafood cooked with acid, usually lime juice. What we do here, it's a little restaurant trick to speed this process up, is we cook it, we just poach it lightly and then let it finish in the citrus, as opposed to cooking it all the way, which can tend to maybe overcook it. So I have this shrimp poaching for about 2 minutes, 3 minutes in the citrus poaching liquid, and I also put a little citrus in my ice bath so we can shock it so it doesn't cook any longer than we want it to. So after about 2 minutes, I'm going to pull this out and shock it right in our water bath. This allows us to ensure that the shrimp is perfectly cooked each time and we don't overcook it with the acid or undercook it for that matter. While my shrimp are cooling, I'm going to take these beautiful habanero or Scotch bonnet chilies. We have a wood fire grill which we like to use for all of our sauces and salsas. If you don't have that at home, you could easily substitute a broiler in the oven, or you could use your backyard grill. And for that matter, you could use any chili, Fresno, habanero, jalapeno, whatever you happen to have. I'm going to take a blender, you can use any blender you have at home. I'm just going to take about 2 or 3 of these guys, right in the bottom, a little bit of a little rice wine vinegar, just about 3 tablespoons. These are very hot, so I'm going to use a good bit of coconut milk, which will cool that down a little bit. So I'm going to use one 16-ounce can of coconut milk. Also, I'm going to take the juice of one lime and a little bit of extra virgin olive oil. So I'm just going to puree this up to a nice smooth consistency. All right, so here at the restaurant, we take these nice shrimp now they've cooled down. We like to dice them into little bite-sized pieces. Anything you want to do at home is fine. You can keep them whole, you can slice them in half lengthwise. I find this adds a nice presentation, and it's easier to eat. So here I have my diced shrimp, my little habanero. I use this as a base. Remember, this can be very spicy. These habaneros, they have a little heat to them. Don't dump the whole thing in. Taste it, see how hot it is, make sure how much heat you want to add to this. What I do is I use that as the base for the ceviche, and then I re-season it with a little more lime juice, and a little nice extra virgin olive oil, and a little bit of nice coarse sea salt. Toss that up together. And then I serve it up. You can serve this in a nice big bowl. You can serve it in individual portions. I garnish these with some nice, beautiful pickled onions we do here in-house. I like the color. I think it looks nice, and it adds a little extra pop, a little chive. And here we have this little micro cilantro. You don't have to have this either. This is any cilantro you can get your hands on will work just fine. And for a little more extra virgin olive oil, and maybe slide this little bit of lime juice right on top. Here you have it. This is our shrimp ceviche here at Johnny Sanchez, New Orleans.